we are our own story, and God has a unique plan for you. Even if God's not in your life right now, there is a unique plan for you. There's a unique path. There's statistics. That's fine. That can give us a baseline, but that doesn't mean that's going to be your journey. And I'm like literally walking proof of that.
Podcast.
Yes, welcome.
Episode 4. We're so excited because we have our first interview today.
Yay!
We have Lindsey Shipley with us, and this is really fun. I thought I wanted to interview you first because we have a long history.
We do.
So first, Lindsey is an incredible individual that I'm so lucky that I've got to know in my life and has influenced my life and my journey through not only motherhood, but business and everything so greatly.
Are we going to cry before we start?
She's an incredible entrepreneur.
Oh,
She's an incredible mom. She's so resilient. Like your story, you just continue to inspire me throughout like my life and watching you even now that we're not as, interacting daily as we used to. But I'm so excited to have you.
And lots of people know you. She's kind of a big deal.
Oh, okay. Tell me more.
But let's assume that people don't know you and start there and have you tell us kind of how Lindsey Shipley became Lindsey Shipley.
Okay. Yeah. Before I was Lindsey Shipley, I was Lindsey Fries. I actually grew up here in Provo. Went to View High School. I was the youngest of 5 girls and grew up in like a very high performance, like sports driven, but very loving home. But I had some shining star sisters to look up to and still do today. So super grateful for that. Sports were a big part of my life. I played soccer, basketball, cross country, track, all those fun things. And then I went up to Utah State to play basketball up there.
Oh, I love Utah State.
Yeah.
I spent a year there.
Okay, you
Just
did.
1 year, sadly, but it was great.
Yeah. Have you asked him if he's a true Aggie or not?
I know he's not.
Okay. Oh, that's what he said.
True.
Yeah.
It's true. That's true.
Because he said he needs to go up there still.
Yeah.
I still need to be a true Aggie.
Yes.
That means you kiss in a specific spot.
Yes.
Right?
On like the A.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll have to make a trip.
It's an old tradition.
So me and my husband are true Aggies. Okay. That's our claim to fame.
Is that where you guys met?
That's where we met. We met there. My second year there. And then we graduated from there together. And then we moved back to Utah County.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. We moved back to Utah County. Okay. And then kind of we started in our professional careers and we had a baby and then we had another baby, 18 months later. And then just when you're going about and life seems to be going really well, I got diagnosed with cancer when I was 27. Totally unexpected. I got a form. It's called mucosal melanoma. It's usually for postmenopausal women. And then just kind of growing up so active and in sports and healthy, you just that's never really on your radar.
Yeah.
That's something that's going to be part of your life.
Yeah.
Especially that young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And especially 2 babies under 2.
Yeah.
Thank you. Can we put that back in the box?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. My second was 6 weeks when I was diagnosed, and then my oldest was 18 months. So that was a really scary time, that initial diagnosis. And then I've actually had 4 recurrences since that initial diagnosis. That was in 2013. And now, drum roll, please, I just hit 6 years no disease,
Awesome.
which is
Yes.
really, really huge. And I just want to that's after having a brain met. So it was in my pelvis originally. And then that last time, I guess we could back up is that I had that initial diagnosis. About a year later, it came back, had to do some chemo, had already done some surgeries. And then about 6 months later, it came back again. And I think that was a really, really low spot because I had just started my business called Lactation Link, which I'm sure we'll talk more about. And that's kind of what brought us together. And I had a moment where I was so defeated. It had come back. So the first time come back twice. And I was so defeated. And my mom was in my room and a couple of my sisters. And I was I had just started Lactation Link a couple months before that third time. And I was man, I was really having fun with that. it sucks. I'm going to have to stop doing that now. And they like, there was like a silence in the room. And then they were like, you are not stopping to do that. Like, you're going to keep going. Like, you're doing great with it. And this doesn't need to stop you. So even as like a strong person, like, I feel like we still need those voices and that support that tells us that we can do it, you know, when things are hard.
I totally agree.
Yeah. And so then I actually did a clinical trial at that time. I went 4.5 years, no disease.
And in the meantime, built an incredible business.
Yes.
While doing all of that, which is so incredible.
Yes. So we can dive more into that. Let me just tell you like how this timeline went a little bit. So yeah, I had been doing the business and, you know, we were like 4 years, no disease. And really initially when I was diagnosed, it sounds weird, but my mind immediately went to my future family. Being somebody who was so excited to build a family. Like, it didn't even go to survival first. It went to, what about my future kids?
Right.
And what about my family? And I think that speaks to the strength of like the maternal instinct for sure. Anyway, and so we, after like so much consultation with doctors and family and God, you know, we were like, you know what, we're going to have another one. And so I had a beautiful healing pregnancy and a great delivery. And I just went for like a MRI, like nothing had happened. It was just like, we didn't do scans while I was pregnant. And so it was time. And I have like pictures of like going into drinking the contrast and going, like just checking a box. And it was actually the day after Christmas. My little boy was born like early December. And then I actually just pulled up the results on my own. And I've never done that again since that time. Because it was just like checking a box to me.
Right.
Because I had done it for 4.5 years. When you have a recurrence, you're pretty uptight. And then when time goes by, you build up confidence.
Right.
And I remember reading it and just like, and then reading, you know, there's a spot in your brain. And it just took my breath away. Like, I couldn't even talk. I just was like frozen. And just so honestly, I'll be really honest. I felt like, oh, that's game over. Even being a nurse and kind of knowing like, that's really not good if it goes to your, you know, vital organs. And that was a really scary time.
Because your baby was so little and you were newly postpartum.
He was 2 weeks old.
Yeah. He was 2 weeks old?
2 weeks old, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
2 weeks old. And the crazy part is when he was born, I have the picture and it was a repeat C-section. I was in the OR and I have this picture and I look up at my husband and I'm just like, I can't believe it. Like, I can't believe we crossed this finish line. And it was just so like...
you felt like you had beat cancer. You had got your family.
Yeah.
So it was a big...
So then when that happened, it was a really hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, you took a leap of faith. Like, you trusted God in the process. Why would this happen again? Like, it was pretty hard. Sorry, I'm like getting emotional early on.
Emotional too.
And it was I just want to be like clear to people that are going through a hard time or like, why can't I like pick myself up or move forward through something that's unknown? It was about 2 weeks of crying about 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
Really was. And then, you know, luckily I have a support system. Like, my brother-in-law, Cameron, is a doctor. So even though he's not an oncologist, he's able to call and try to find the right people to get to.
Yeah.
And so luckily we were able to meet with doctors and get a plan. But, you know, there's a couple times where the initial diagnosis, I didn't know, like, is it a speck or is it everywhere?
Right.
So that period of time, that first like week or 10 days, that took my breath away. And then this last time I dealt with, you know, that was also so unknown, you just can't even describe.
Right.
And so what I would say, like, during that time is I really had to lean on my faith. Like, and sometimes it's like, oh, I want to pray for this outcome. And I wanted to do, and I just remember times like, hey, we're about ready to go up to the doctor. I like literally would go and I would kneel down at my bed and say, give me more faith. Please just give me more faith right now. Because I don't know what's coming my way. And there's really nothing else I would say that helped me get through those times where there was so much unknown and the stakes were so high.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like my journey with cancer. And then getting through a really tough treatment at that time, having to be hospitalized a few times. And so that was about 6 months of treatment that fourth time. And then now I've been able to get to 6 years, no disease.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So
It is amazing.
I'm so grateful for it. I had, a doctor that is still in my corner that I still trust today that told me, this is incurable at that time.
Right.
But some of these treatments that I've had haven't been around for 40 years.
Yeah.
And so kind of another one of my doctors was like, hey, you might not ever have this again. Like, we just have to take it at a step at a time. Mm-hmm. But that's word,
hard to do.
That word
easy to say, hard to do.
That word of this is traditionally incurable kept me up in my closet at night many times, but I do want to say, because some people reach out to me sometimes, like a friend says, oh, maybe you should message this girl, because they have a new diagnosis or something. And I try to tell people, whether it's cancer or something else, we are our own story, and God has a unique plan for you. Even if God's not in your life right now, there is a unique plan for you. There's a unique path. There's statistics. That's fine. That can give us a baseline, but that doesn't mean that's going to be your journey. And I'm literally walking proof of that.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah. So that's a little bit. That's let's just get to the climax first. And
that's the executive summary. That's what that is. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you didn't touch on that in the middle of, you kept going with your business.
Yeah.
During the reoccurrence, you also had just had your baby. So, and your business is Lactation Link.
Yeah.
Because you're a lactation specialist.
Yeah.
And watching you journey through, what would normally be the time that you're nursing your baby and you're doing cancer treatments it was really unique to watch you go through that.
Yeah.
And
I think what you're talking about is, so my first two, I was able to nurse. My second, I was done by the time I needed to do things like chemo, where you can't. And then with my third, I probably had the most knowledge, was the most prepared. And then I was diagnosed 2 weeks after he was born. And then I had to start treatments 2 weeks after that were not compatible with breastfeeding. And that was kind of another little knife in the side.
Because that's your gift. You're so gifted at it.
Yeah. So that was another huge learning lesson of there's always good, better, best in things. And and some moms will be like, oh, I wasn't able to do it, and I don't feel I'm sad about that, or I don't feel that I don't know, they feel shame or guilt about not being able to do that if that's something they wanted to do. And I just think that all situations are unique. And I'm the first one to say that, I understand, because I've had to do that too.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard when you see something going one way.
Expectations. They're hard.
Yeah, we think we know best. What are we thinking? Yeah.
One of Scott's favorite sayings that I've learned being married to him is he's like, always lower the expectations. And he's like, it sounds bad, but even for yourself, when it try to lower them so that then you have
be flexible.
And,
allow things to happen.
And I'm not good at that. I'm I have my plan.
Type A planners.
Yes.
High expectations for myself, for others, for what I could do. And so when things don't go as planned, it kind of can throw a wrench.
Totally. And as we were walking in, we were talking a little bit about, it's really good to be a high achiever.
Yeah.
It can be really detrimental too.
Yeah. It comes with its own set of challenges.
Absolutely.
Which I think is all of us, and all of we have strengths and weaknesses that we have to adjust and learn for ourselves.
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about our story, how we met.
Let's do it.
Well, let's kind of talk about Lactation Link, lead up to you guys meeting and everything that way first.
So fun. Yeah. So, we'll
explain what Lactation Link is.
Yeah. So to back up a little bit, I was labor and delivery nurse. And then I had my first two babies, and my sister was actually a huge mentor of mine, in breastfeeding, if that makes sense. She had her babies, and she was a nurse, and nurses were kind of helpful to her, her colleagues and things. And she, did it really well, and she really enjoyed it. She felt a lot of joy through that. And obviously there's so many health benefits for baby and mom too, as well. And so her being my older sister, she kind of, relayed some of that to me. And so then when I got a chance to do that with my kids, I saw how special and wonderful it was. And she was kind of my support. Her name's Cammie. Yeah, she was kind of my support and mentor there. And then standing at the bedside of hundreds of deliveries, and kind of beforehand, you're like, okay, are you wanting to breastfeed or formula feed? And knowing that such a high percentage of women will say that breastfeeding, before the baby's here. And then me being kind of at a unique vantage point, seeing the baby come up to mom and just kind of seeing like, maybe like we're not exactly knowing what to do here. Even though we want to do it, maybe there hasn't been a lot of discussion, education, support. Maybe, your mom didn't do it and that's fine. But like, then how are you going to automatically know how to do it? Right.
Right.
And so I observed that over and over again.
Yeah. Well, and on that note, actually, that takes me back to our experiences.
Okay.
I kind of expected like it just to happen.
Okay.
And that actually, we're big Office fans. I don't know. Do you watch The Office at all?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
I know a few of them.
But Jim, he expects the same, and he's kind of like, just do it. Just make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people feel that way, and there's just so much more to it than anyone would have expected.
And then if it can't work out, it's highly emotional.
Yeah.
And I totally...
Or highly painful if you don't have the right tools.
Absolutely.
Especially being a young mom and witnessing, like, I took Lactation Link course. That's how we connected as I saw it online. And I was like, I want to be prepared.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I want to breastfeed.
Yeah.
And
so I kind of saw this issue. I actually went to some of my other nurses and they're like, oh, we'll just kind of follow what we do. And not to say that what they were teaching was bad. I just saw a lot of variation and I didn't really see.
Probably.
What's that?
A lot of confusion.
There you go.
Being
yeah. And I didn't see kind of a standard. Of course, there's going to be, variation stuff, but I just graduated from University of Utah, like research-based university, and I'm 22 and I'm so smart. And so I kind of went looking for a different solution, right? And like, I wasn't necessarily thinking like, let me create it. I was just like, well, let me find something I can pass on to patients, right? And then as I started to have my kids and then get more serious, I was like, oh, there really isn't. Like there's videos from the 80s.
Yeah.
And like none of our little millennial and Gen Z moms are
finding those.
And so then I was like, well, maybe I'll work at the hospital as lactation consultant. And I did some interviews and I got offered a job. And like last second, I was like, actually, that's not what I want to do. I want to help moms before they get there.
Yeah.
So I went through and I had been gaining hours and I was working at WIC in addition to the hospital and I took the exam. Like it's actually pretty hard. It's like 1,000 hours hands-on helping.
Yeah. To be a lactation consultant?
Well, to be an IBCLC, which is kind of the gold standard. Yeah. So 1,000 hours hands-on helping and then 90 education hours to be eligible to sit for the exam.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and I think we jumped over a spot of brilliance there, which is that you said, I want them to be prepared before that. What played into that position, that like idea?
I just felt after you have the baby, you're so overwhelmed, you're so exhausted. They didn't let you eat usually. Yeah. And so it's kind of like, think of Charlie Brown when the teacher's like, wah, wah, like even the most well-meaning and prepared, lactation consultant or nurse, you're not going to retain a lot.
Yeah.
And it's hard. Like, I want you to have a baseline so I can just reiterate.
Right.
Not start from scratch. Because it's going to be overwhelming, tiring, just all those things.
Prepared before the onslaught.
Right.
That is
there you go.
Postpartum.
There you go. And then I also knew the resources at the hospital are slim.
Yeah.
So it's like usually they hire one lactation consultant. Like, an example, like IMC in Murray, like 5,000 births a year. There's one lactation consultant typically, maybe two.
For the whole hospital?
Yeah.
Wow.
So which means you end up with like, what, half an hour or less with
That's what it felt like.
Less typically.
It felt like it was like 10 minutes. Like, you doing good?
Yeah. And it's nothing
need any
about...
You got it? Yeah, you got it? Okay, I'm out.
And I would say that's more about the structure because there's tons of well-meaning, like eager LCs.
100%.
You got to hire more, but that's just, they're not going to do that, right?
Right.
So it's just kind of like knowing that, but then also knowing that it's not a great time to learn a new skill.
Yeah. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, especially in our case. I had a traumatic postpartum.
Totally.
I was just trying to survive. I was so grateful that I had taken your course and that I had all those skills and my brain didn't need to worry about that. It was just going great because I already had prepared. And so I could focus on taking care of myself.
Yeah.
And the nursing I didn't have to worry about because I had learned the skills.
Well, and the other cool thing is if you have the knowledge and something unexpected happens, it's less of a panic.
Yes.
You're like, oh, I remember this part.
Yes.
I can just get started at this time. Latch isn't time sensitive, but I do have to get started on X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So I think there's just a little bit more joy, less worry. Or what did I say? Yeah, more joy, less worry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was actually kind of one of our mottos because we were talking about, it's not necessarily about the duration. It doesn't need to be the breastfeeding Olympics of like, oh, I did it for 5 years. That's great if it works for you for that. Or, I've got to make it to, 2 years or 1 year or 6 months. Like it's totally fine to have those goals, but really what I wanted to relay was like, let's just make it more joyful.
Yeah.
Let's make you feel more at peace, more in control,
less stress.
And then those times can fluctuate. You know, I've had people who are saying like, oh, I thought I was going to hate it. I thought it was going to be so weird. Like a girl that's helped me with like my eyebrows and stuff. She's like, I thought it was going to be so weird. And then it's been the most beautiful thing that I've done. And now I'm 8 months breastfeeding.
Yeah.
You know, or someone who's like, I was dead set on it and I had so many issues and it didn't pan out the right way. And maybe I want to try again next time. You know, it's just.
But when you have the right knowledge, which is what you're giving people, then like they don't like, oh, could have I done more?
Sure.
I feel like when
it's
you're
not in the back of your mind.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I was educated. I did what I could. We made it 4 months. I'm really proud of myself. And sometimes moms are like, without that education, they're like, did I do it right? Did I not? Like, it takes that off the table too. Like, just being prepared.
And just being really fair. You know, some people, they'll take the course and they'll say, like, you know what, it's not for me. And that's okay too.
Yeah.
You know, that's okay too. Like, everybody kind of has their own, you're in the driver's seat,
but
right?
You're giving a place that did not exist.
Yeah, totally. And so yeah, to follow up, it was like, okay, so I got the certification and I started doing some classes in my living room. I was like, oh, I'm just going to do some free classes. And then 8 people sign up and then nobody comes, you know?
Yes.
That fun thing.
I love the pictures of like your first ones. They really are in your living room with like a homemade banner
Yeah. And so that's when I started charging like $25.
Yeah.
And then people were waiting 15 minutes beforehand to get there, you know, just a little psychology of people. But you're right. It was super humble beginnings. And like that banner actually fell off the wall halfway through the first class. And I was sewing little burp cloths and we had little grab bags. And honestly, it was nothing like a Pinterest influencer event today by any means. But what I will say is the same is the passion.
Right.
The passion was there. And then we just iterated and got a little better each time, But then after doing some of those successful little 10 mom groups, started doing like Instagram. And that was in 2015. And I was like one of the first parenting influencers. Like, it just wasn't a thing, right? It was back when like it was a little bit lighter and a little bit more fun, you know?
And it's true.
Yeah, totally true. Anyway, and so then people, like I remember someone said, hey, would love to take a class from you, but I live in Poland. So then I started doing some Google Hangout classes. Those were maxed at 15 back then. Like you couldn't get more than that on the call.
Oh, interesting.
So I did that. And so like my little 2 toddlers, my husband had to take them out from like 7 to 8:30. That went over really well in the evening, you know. And so then after doing that for about 9 months, I was like, okay, I'm kind of getting the same questions. Like, what about like an online course people could take in Poland or wherever they are, like in their jammies, you know? So I remember going like, okay, I'm going to launch this in 2 months. And I literally would go to the library, because I didn't really have like an office or anything like that. So went to the library, made changes to the courses, hired a little videographer to come and shoot 3 tutorials that were my friends, bless you, whoever that was, who would cut off the face so that no one could see. And then launched that first online course, you know, that were the breastfeeding classes. And first 2 weeks went by and I, you know, made a couple $1,000s. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I made it, like life is over, you know?
Right.
Then like after about a month, you know, everybody who knew me or followed me had purchased. Right. So then that next month, the sales are low. And I'm like, what? Did I say something weird on social media? What did I do wrong? Like, I'm not getting it. Because remember, it's a nursing background.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not business background. So
still shocks me.
What?
Because I look up to you from a business perspective. How much you.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to hear. How you had that.
So I wasn't
growth.
getting it. Like I wasn't getting like, you need new leads every month. So I actually went to a conference. It was like a baby product conference. And I knew a couple of the ladies that were going to be there, like that had local motherhood things and a couple that had a breast pump company that I was going to meet up with. So I went out to dinner with some of them. And I was telling one of the girls what I did. And she was like, well, you should build a sales funnel. And I said, what's a sales funnel? And she was like, oh, sweetheart, like, let's work, like, let's start from the beginning. So that's kind of an illustration of like, that's when I learned, oh, I have to have a lead gen system.
Yeah.
And I have to have funnels.
Right.
Yeah.
And in order to reach more people and use your passion to help more people, you had to learn the business side.
Yeah, totally. And I'll be the first one to tell you, like, people who do that IBCLC certification, I told you it's like a lot of hands-on hours. You have to do the education. You're, okay, like, so your pay probably doubles, right? No. No, you get a little muffin. Like, you're like, so why I'm telling you that is typically the people who are, international board certified lactation consultants are the salt of the earth people that just
they're not doing it
moms.
for money.
Yeah. Like,
they're
I
doing
remember,
it 'cause they're passionate.
I remember there was a book that says this is how you do a private practice. And the very first page says, if you'd like to make money, do not do this profession.
Yeah.
I said, I'll worry about that later, and I kept going because I am proud of the fact that I feel like Lactation Link really helped a lot of people in a valuable way. It wasn't necessarily like click it, purchase, buy.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it did deliver the value.
Oh.
And
well,
then
we know that.
Yeah.
We know that firsthand. Well, and that's why, like, I purchased your course.
Yeah.
And then I used it. Mm-hmm. And I think I met you at some...
Was that did you purchase it before or after we met at the ice cream place?
I think it was before.
Okay, before you purchased it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I purchased it before you used it because I think we met.
We went to a little opening of the ice cream sandwich shop. My sister-in-law came with me, I remember.
Yes.
And I think you had one of your babies there.
Well, and that's why, because I took it before I had my first. Mm-hmm. And I watched it religiously. Scott was like, what are you doing? Like, this should just happen. I had notebooks. I was writing
she told
notes.
me, I'm going to buy this course. And
Scott's
I was like,
a bandwagon fan, guys.
Late to the game. Listen, I'm also a man, so I don't have the equipment. Anyway, no, she said that she wanted to buy the course, and I was kind of like, really? Do we need a course?
And I was like, I want to feel prepared. I don't know anything about breastfeeding. I also, like, my mom didn't breastfeed my two younger siblings because they're both adopted, and so I didn't even like witness. I've never witnessed anybody breastfeeding. It was a complete, I don't know anything about it. I've never even really watched anybody breastfeed ever. And I had done so much work to finally have my baby. I wanted to be so prepared. And it felt like a big hole in, I know nothing. And me being my personality, I don't like that. I don't like going into something blind. I like being prepared. And so I was like, no, like, I really want to.
And what year was that?
So I had
she was
Lila
born in 2016.
Yeah.
So
okay. So you got the early edition. Look at you. And she still
but
likes
I did.
me crazy.
I took notes, and it really made the biggest difference.
Yeah.
It made the biggest difference. I felt like I knew what I was doing. I felt prepared. I knew how to, have a latch, and I didn't ever, like, I knew what a bad latch was and what a good latch was. And I just felt like it was really successful for me.
Maybe demystified it a little bit for you.
Yes. Yeah. I just felt prepared and felt like, okay, if I have these issues, I know I have the tools of like knowing what to do.
Yeah.
And that's when I was fully converted.
Yes.
And did he watch or did you give him the Cliff Notes?
I asked him to watch. I don't remember if
there are a few parts that you said, watch these parts.
That's right.
So you can help me with that.
So you can help me with X, Y, and Z. But I had so many notes, and I took the notebook too. Like the birth.
The breastfeeding Bible. I love it.
Yeah. But it was after that then that I just followed on Instagram, and I actually think and then I had met you in person.
And then we met. That was so fun. I remember. And you were like, hey, and you're introduce yourself, and you had the cutest little Minky blanket. Was that, didn't you make those? Or
Yes.
Yes.
That was
a
hot second.
Well.
Yeah.
See, I know Elise before the DIY. Okay, guys. Like, she had this cute blanket. I was like, oh my gosh, because I think I remember.
I was trying. I was hustling to try to do something, and then you had listed on Instagram that you needed someone.
Probably shortly after that, maybe.
Yeah, I think you posted like looking for a social media manager.
Yeah,
and I was like, I think I want to apply. I think I want to do that.
Yeah,
and so that was my
started working together.
Yeah, that was my first job. Like. So Lindsey was my boss.
And we had a lot of fun together.
We had so much fun together. I loved working with you. I loved learning from you I just have so much respect for how you run your business. You're like, I think you taught me how to run mine in a lot of ways.
Oh,
I really do. Like the way that you lifted the people around you. And I think sometimes women in business get a bad rap for being, like, if you're not overly kind or over, like, it's like, oh, they're rougher, but you balance so much being strong and kind. And I felt like you gave me constructive, like I never felt like I wasn't doing a good job, but I also always felt like, oh, like I can do better, like inspired to do better without feeling bad about myself.
Yeah, I appreciate
which
that.
is like, that's a hard balance to strike, especially with working with other women. Sometimes they can be, you know, it can be like, oh, like they don't like me, more sensitive. And so I feel like watching you really inspired me in a lot of ways of like how to run a business, how to be a boss, how to influence others, not only with your business, but inside of your business as well. Watching you hire other BCLCs and lift them and support them and like just everything about it. I loved working
and it
for
was
you.
Totally like baptism by fire, you know?
Totally.
Like, I'm
it
sure...
also helped me so much in my business because I wasn't really running it. It was just a hobby.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot about how to, you know, run it more as a business.
And one thing I do love doing in kind of a management type role, and I think that's what helped bring a lot of nurses together in a peaceful environment was it's more about, it's not about what do I want. It's not about who's smartest. It's like, this is our goal.
Right.
How do we put our heads together? Like let's throw different ideas out. It's not about me or you. It's just about what's going to move the needle.
Well, and I would say that's what I learned from you. It's not me, but we. Like it felt like that. It didn't feel like your business.
Yeah.
It always felt like when you talked about like, it wasn't, I need you to do this and I need this to be the outcome. It was like, we need to do this and we need this to be the outcome, which is just a small change in verbiage, but it felt like we were working as a team towards a common goal. Instead of I was working for you and you had a goal.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because I feel like I implement that with my employees, that they're part of my team. And I really do try to use
you
that
want them
mentality.
to feel rewarded.
Yeah.
They still need to perform.
And I felt like you cared about my growth inside your business, but outside as well. And I've really like used that with my employees. Like I want to see their growth. It would help within my business, but I also, if that means that they grow and they go and they flourish, I like want that for them so much.
Yeah.
And I felt like you had
that. Yeah. And I think I definitely learned as I went, because the first person I managed, when she left, I remember like laying on the floor, like same, like oh my gosh, like
I had a mental breakdown
because I think I was like, oh, now I have to start from scratch, right? And so then that was another thing of learning, like, oh, you have to build a system. You have to build. This is how we do things. Screen record. Create a manual for each job.
People will come in and out,
and that's okay. Yeah, and that's okay. So you got to be okay with it,
right?
And the business's bank account has to be okay with it. Like you're not going to have to pour another 10 grand to get someone started because you have these simple things outlined.
Right. Sure. We've heard your story.
Okay.
And now let's talk about how it's impacted you personally and like your growth.
Sure.
So when you look at your life today, what would surprise a former version of you the most?
Going through cancer 4 times. Like a 10, 15, 20-year-old me would be like, are you kidding me? Yeah. Having 3 beautiful babies and kids. I know that I wanted to have a family, but I think like, you're always like, is it going to happen, or is it going to be the way I want? And I'm so grateful for that every day. And I remember when I was sick, praying and saying, I just want to be a mom. I just want to be a mom. Like, and being grateful for help, but also be like, I don't want to have a babysitter every day. Like, wanting to flourish in that role. So I'm grateful for that. And then I think would probably be very surprised about starting and running a business for 7 years. And not that I didn't doubted myself to be capable in that role, but I don't know that was on my radar.
Yeah.
So few surprises, some happy, some hard, but end up worth it. Yeah. Lessons have been learned.
Well, and maybe Elise should tell you about how she thought she was going to be a business person when she was younger.
What do you mean?
She didn't think she was going to be a business person.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Because I did not. I mean, different but similar, because I thought I was going to be a speech therapist, and
I remember you building those courses
and
watching that and being really proud of you and seeing.
I had a new appreciation for you, especially. It's interesting on the climate on social media when you try to help people genuinely. I feel like that's when you receive the most. I couldn't take it.
Yeah.
I mean, it ended up not being for me because when you try to offer someone education or more input or more information, especially from a a standpoint of like, I was educated. Like, this is what I felt like was deeply my passion.
Absolutely.
And then to have people attack you for literally trying to do something good was...
Or not giving enough free stuff away.
Yes. Yes.
Which we're happy to, but we have lives and families too, right? So finding that balance of, okay, this is what I can do. Yeah. And then if people don't like it, they're probably not my customer. Yeah. Right? It's okay.
Yeah.
Well, and did you run into that yourself? I mean, that was... Take us through some of that.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Like, pick a more polarizing topic. Go ahead, Scott.
Well, breastfeeding, especially for what there's.
I know less about that, but I know that the speech pathologist stuff. I was shocked that parents would not take this information and just love it and be so grateful for it.
And I would say that I am also proud of me and the team navigating such a polarizing topic, because we weren't going to compromise on this. Is the research?
Yeah,
These are the benefits of breastfeeding and things like that. But also, like, we understand there's nuance within family. Yeah. And there's nuance within individuals. And take me, for instance. I didn't think I was going to have a cancer diagnosis. Yeah. Some people, I had somebody take the class that actually did a testimonial for me that had kind of a more rare thing. She didn't have enough breast tissue. That was just her anatomy. Mm-hmm. She was like, but I'm glad I took the course because then I knew, like, I did everything right and it was something out of my control. And then I had peace moving forward.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there's just...
How did you keep steady on the path mentally when you had people that were trying to tear you down in your goal? Because I think sometimes people forget that I can have a passionate, beautiful, wonderful goal to help people, but I can also have a goal that it has to be a successful business at the same time. Like it doesn't have to be black and white, right? And sometimes people don't have a problem with that when it's like a doctor. Like, obviously they have to make a living and they want to help people.
Right.
But then when you are an entrepreneur and trying to start a business, they look at you as, oh, it's just a cash grab. When it's like...
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah.
Like, how did you stay the course?
Yeah. I think I built my armor as I went, because I remember one of my first, like, nasty... somebody wanted a consultation or a class or something, and it was like, oh my gosh, we'd love to help you. This is the cost. And their response was like, that is such a gross, like, it's so gross of you to charge for something so intimate and personal and needed. And that's okay that she said that. She might have been,
right,
sleep deprived, emotional, whatever. But I took that really hard. And that was kind of my, like, early on. And I was like, well, am I being gross? Like, am I being like a pig? Like, and then I was like, no, like, this is my profession. Like, I have a family too. Yeah. And so that was kind of like, okay, now I have one thin layer of something, okay, next time something that happens, I can just totally put it to the side. That's her issue and propel forward.
I love that you said build your armor as you go, because I felt similarly, like, some people, how do you have a tough skin? Like, you just have to have a tough skin to do what you do. And I'm like, actually, no. Like, it's really built slowly. And it's from those experiences that each time you get practice. You learn something from practicing it.
And I would say if you're going to do entrepreneurship, choose something you're passionate about. Because if you don't have passion, you're going to give up when you're in some of those instances, because, like, like, you're not as motivated to get to that because you don't care about it as much. When you care about it and you really like, you're willing to take those little beatings or those little, off course things, because you're like, that hurt, but, like,
I care more about
getting here. And it's really important, so that's my advice. If you're going to do something hard, like starting a business, try to do it with something that you really care about.
I totally agree.
And it just doesn't have to be for you. Like, you really care about other people being able to get that tool as well. So yeah. And there's a lot of incidences, like, there's a lot that happened, has happened politically or different things. And I'm just like, I understand, like, people have strong opinions about different things. And this is in that kind of sector.
And sometimes it's out of your control in just the way the world is shaped.
Absolutely.
Like, I feel like it would be so great if insurance covered a course like yours, but they don't. Well, so it's like...
That brings us to our next segment.
to the future.
I don't know. I haven't talked to you, but I'm actually launching a new, it's actually called Mommy Link. It's a sister, but it is actually insurance covered courses. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So I'm excited. We're kind of at the very beginning. I've been really learning insurance over the last year after taking about a 3-year career break after I sold Lactation Link, which was so needed.
Congratulations.
After being 7 years in a startup, like you need that breather, you need that reset. And so, so we've actually already done a few test classes and things like that. Like we're not in with every insurance plan. So we still have cash pay and HSA options and things like that. But
that's incredible.
Yeah. And then some of the consultants that worked for me before are helping with instructing and things like that.
That's so exciting.
So that's really cool.
Congrats.
But that's going to be a new challenge for sure. Yeah. Because insurance is not
a whole other animal.
Yeah. So I've just been taking it a step at a time kind of last year, like navigating and learning.
That's so exciting because I think that's probably who should be paying for it.
Right. I agree. Yeah. It just wasn't something that we were equipped to kind of navigate or deal with, when I was starting, but I'm so glad I had to learn everything I learned there that now I can carry that with me. But I do want to just touch on you said, when people attack you and things like that, the last thing I would say is just like, guys, remember the internet's not real.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like in lots of different topics, people attack people like you're a bad person or you're disgusting or I can't interact with you. And it's just like, what do you know how they help their neighbor? Do you know how they help their kids? Do you know
you're seeing a small portion of
so let's have some more compassion.
Totally.
And let's get our feet busy helping in our communities. Let's try to see more eye to eye than have hatred and shutting people out, even if we think differently. Because guess what? Nobody chose like what home they were, born into and what their environment was. And that shapes everything about us. Right. So I think that it's taken like I'll be 40 this year. And I feel like this is maybe the first year I'm fully kind of getting that and also like not caring.
Right. I feel the same.
If you think I'm a bad person, that's fine. I feel great about the effort I give in life and I can lay my head on the pillow. Am I perfect? And do I know everything about every topic in the world? Absolutely not. But I know about the things where I can make an impact. And that's okay. That's good enough for me right now.
Well, she and I this morning were talking about how sometimes it seems like the people who are doing the most good are also taking the most hate.
And so you gotta stay the course.
Yeah.
And you're doing it. You're even jumping back in and going again. It's incredible.
And I also think if someone attacks you, you can also respond with, you might be right. I might not know about that. And I might not be as good as you.
Open to learning. And we all have to be that way.
There you go.
And opening to see other people's perspectives.
Yeah.
Because we all have that lens.
Yeah.
And when we're a little bit more open, we all can learn from each other instead of being so closed off.
So I'm a work in progress, but I've learned a lot through all of that. The armor is maybe halfway built.
Yeah. Okay. I think I still have a way to go too. But in all of your life experiences so far, what do you feel like was the belief you had to unlearn the most?
Yeah. I think that really to no fault of my upbringing, but I think that growing up and then you're trying to reach for the stars and do all these things can become black and white a little bit. It's either good enough or it's not, right?
Right.
And I think experience, age, and also I think my husband has helped me a lot with that. Like, help me understand, like, because sometimes you're like, well, it has to be this way. Like, I have to set up the party this way, or I have to do exercise this way, or I have to get this goal in business. Or I remember there were times I was going through my early years and I had certain people in my mind that I was like, oh, if I could just get to where they are. And if you can kind of let go of that and say, hey, there can be a middle ground. Like, my 4-year-old doesn't have to have a Pinterest birthday party. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
They're just going to remember, did mom give me a hug and bring me, a balloon or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Because I think some of my personality is geared towards that. Yeah. And learning to kind of understand, well, what is the purpose of something? Let's stick with that. Let's let the rest go.
Yeah.
And
effort over results. Like that it's like, what am I giving in the purpose, instead of this idea of what I want the result to be.
Yeah. And maybe lean into like, how does it feel versus how does it look?
Yeah.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something I think I've learned, or I guess I had to unlearn.
Yes.
There doesn't need to be perfection. Everything doesn't have to look perfect. Certain things it's really important to deliver on, right?
Right.
But other things, like, are you doing it for your ego?
Right.
Or are you doing it? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I love the analogy of like spinning plates, because life has so many different like spinning plates. I've got to spin this motherhood plate. I've got to spin this plate. And sometimes I've had periods of time where it's like, I can't spin all the plates. Like I'm just exhausted, and remembering that, like, if you're spinning one plate, the other is going to slow down. Like you literally can't spin all the plates at the same speed at the same time. And that it's okay that you're spinning this one and then, oh, this one needs attention. I got to go spin this one. And that's just the nature of, you literally can't do everything well all the time.
No.
And that you just give effort where you can, when you can, and you just keep as many plates spinning as you can. You're just doing your best.
And you keep the most important ones spinning.
Exactly. If a plate falls,
keep your kids spinning, keep your husband spinning, and everything else
will keep you spinning.
Keep you spinning.
No.
Well, that reminds me of, bringing that up, kids and husband, is when I had that last recurrence, and I remember going on a walk with my sisters in the track, and they were reminding me, because I started therapy right when I was diagnosed. So I've been in therapy for 12 years. And I consider that as important as the medications that I took in my recovery and all of that. And I remember her saying, like, hey, like, let's focus on that. Let's focus on kind of getting you to more peace, because then your kids' lives are going to be better and your husband's life's going to be better. And I remember hearing that and going, okay, like I
really
hear
have
what you're
to take
saying.
care of myself in order to take care of the people around me.
Yeah.
That's an important reminder, I think, for everybody.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easy to put yourself off. But you can't give of yourself if you're not taking care of yourself.
Yeah. We've been recently doing a big health thing. I don't know if you followed much of that, but that was kind of one of the motivations that you had talked about before, is we need to do it for our children, to be there for our children.
But I need to give a better version of myself.
And I do think me. Because of our gains, we've been able to do that.
Yeah, I do.
Let's take a step back. I want to talk about you mentioned that you grew up in a high performance environment. Tell me more about that.
My parents are going to love that label.
Well, we should just say you are an athlete.
Yeah. I think it's just like our parents were like, hey, you can do this.
Yeah.
Like they didn't place limitations on what we could achieve.
Yeah.
And then they supported us to get there.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a better, that's a better explanation.
I feel the same way in my home. It was like,
But I guess what I'm wondering is, like, how, I mean, you had she lettered in 16 sports. She played
16 total, 4 sports. There you go.
4 sports. Okay. But 4 different, how did that work? A few different times.
So 4 sports, but then you're lettering multiple times because you can get 1 per year. Yeah.
Yep. And then played in college basketball. So how did that high performance environment and just maybe just sports in general help you to
I love that question. Thank you.
Bridge, beat cancer and to start a business and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Because that, I think, leads
and to keep moving forward when you're getting the hate comments. No, I love that, because so my daughter is 12 and I started coaching her a couple years ago. I started coaching my son 3 or 4 years ago in basketball. He's more into baseball and football now. But going through, sports, navigating that, and then getting to a collegiate level, and there's a lot that comes with that, and it's physical and it's also mental, right?
Definitely.
And so then after I was done, I was kind of away from the sport for about 10 years, like starting our family and then navigating, unexpected illness and things. And so as my daughter started to show more interest, I was excited, but I was also like, how do I navigate this?
Yeah.
Like, how do I help her, reach and grow? But also I don't want to put my baggage on her or expectations in the wrong way, but they're also young. You do have to guide them.
Yeah.
Right.
And so to answer your question, I think that it helps tremendously to have that kind of scaffolding as you're growing up. Like, when the going gets tough, you don't just give up. Okay. When you get tired because you're doing a sprint, that doesn't mean you don't finish the sprint. Like I feel like sports can directly translate to good performance in other areas, or being resilient through something like an illness, or maybe you lose a member of your family, or maybe you lose a job unexpectedly. How do we kind of keep going forward in those ways? Right. So that's why I love sports, because I think, like, coaching young girls, I love it for teaching them the skills, but I also love helping them become the best people they can be, because I feel like the things they learn in sport can directly translate like it has for me, right?
Mm-hmm. You're setting them up not only to help them in sports, but in the future when they hit those moments of resistance or hardship, that they've learned the skills of how to overcome them in sports, and that'll translate.
Because there's a lot of variables. Mm-hmm. So we talk about, hey, we're focusing on effort, not perfection. Mm-hmm. You might not hit every shot that you take, but you can box out every time. You can run the floor. You can be coachable, right? And there's so many variables. Like in my, you can't control the ref. You can't control the other coach that might be screaming. Maybe your coach isn't playing you as much as you want. Mm-hmm. There's all these narratives that give you an out in sports. Like you could blame something else. But if you come back to like ownership and like, you're right, like I might not play the whole game, but am I going to make an impact in the 5 minutes that I'm in? Right. Or, we had tryouts with the team, and I had to make a couple of calls to parents this morning and talking about, okay, maybe she's not ready for the roster right now, but man, she showed some awesome strides. She's got let's meet her where she's at and let's keep her going. Right. So I guess, I don't know if that's a great answer, but I think
completely,
I think it's just like learning resilience in whatever way it is. And I'm not saying sports are the only way,
right.
Because there's a lot of different ways where character is shown, and you can build, resilience. That was just my pathway.
Right. Yeah.
And I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I will say there's been direct translation in positive ways to, okay, we're not making enough revenue. Like we're out of all our friends that bought the course. How do we, what's figure outable there? Right. Yeah. And, then with, you're faced with a diagnosis, and you're like, there were times that I was just like, I feel like the first time I had it, I was like, I got through the treatment. I was like, okay, I don't need to like worry about that again. Third or fourth time, you're like, wow, okay. Like I don't want to be doing this at all. Yeah. And this is a part of my life. And so I'm actually going to have to accept it and manage it and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And guess what? I don't know the outcome. Yeah. Like when I had my 3 little kids that were 8, 6, and newborn, that was a crucible moment, test, and that's, I think when we're tested the most, it's like, you got to take those steps in the dark, so I do feel like they've translated. I do want to say something too, though, is that I feel like having a high performance mindset or having that, can be, super detrimental at times too.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that you have this high bar in everything you do. And if you don't hit that perceived bar in your head, not necessarily that anyone else is imposing on you, it is like high performance. Whoa, it's a low valley, quick.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've talked with my therapist about that, and how do I, cause it's like, wow, like that's a lot to deal with.
Well, for me, sometimes it's like I set that bar, and then if I even come I'm 80% to the bar, in my brain, it can feel like it was a 0%. It was only the 100% or nothing. Instead of being able to see, hey, you 80%, you got to be, that's really good.
Yeah.
But in my mind, it's either that or nothing. And overcoming that mentally to appreciate the effort over the expectation of perfection.
And that could be in work. For me, I also apply it to relationships that I care about. And or I want to be a really good mom, and so did I hit that benchmark for myself?
Right.
And it kind of comes down to unexpected things will happen.
Right.
And sometimes I'm like, maybe there was an interaction and it didn't go well with someone I care about. And then I'm really beat myself up and go, you should have been prepared. You should have known. You should have done better. Right. And I think learning, maybe you're not going to hit the 100 bar every time in your head. That's, but you can come back to that person, or you can come back to that task and say, okay, maybe I didn't do it perfect, but I'm going to love myself anyway. That's what I'm working on right now. That's what I'm working on right now.
I think we're all working.
Yeah.
Especially women.
Yeah.
Especially women. Women are,
yeah,
it's one of our skills that I feel like we want to do things the best we can for the people we love in our lives.
Yeah.
But it's also a detriment because we can be a little too hard on ourselves.
Really too hard. Yeah. And then it's like, then you can't function and you can't help anybody. And so that's a big one that was shared with me like recently in the last 6 months. Because I'm like, man, I do all these things well. But then if I don't, I'm like kind of off the rails a little bit. And it's not mad at other people. It's really targeted at myself. And he's like, so you have conditional love for yourself. And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. You know,
put it that way. Oh, geez.
And so just remembering like, okay, if you don't hit the bar that you set, go, okay. But
so what are you actively doing to create that unconditional love for yourself that's not tied to performance?
So telling myself what I just said is that taking a beat before you're like really want to like go low on yourself and go, I didn't maybe do this the way I wanted to do it, but I'm going to love myself anyway. I'm going to try to love myself anyway. Or maybe it's a conversation with your spouse or someone that you care about and you go and say, you know what? Maybe I messed up on these couple of things. I'm going to keep trying to love myself. I definitely love you. Thanks for loving me imperfectly. You know, let's move forward.
Yeah.
Like those are, it's like sounds simple. It's not a magic wand.
No, but I think it's the simple things that matter that we sometimes skip. Like remembering to like have more forgiveness for ourselves and allow ourselves to grow. It's kind of it's like a good analogy is like our daughters are learning to play the piano. And our one, she sits at the piano, and if she messes up at all, she's so hard on herself. And she's like, I can't do this. I'm so horrible at this. I'm like, you're just learning. Like, why are you? I don't expect you to get it right every time. Like, I expect you to make mistakes. And I have love for you, and I don't care. But it seems like you really care.
This is my daughter, too.
Yeah. And so, like, I'm like, take that away. Like, it's okay. I want you to make mistakes. That's how you're going to learn. And watching her like, oh, I do that to myself, not in piano, but in other areas of like, why can't I be okay with myself making mistakes and learning from them? That's why we're all here on earth. And we need to give ourselves a little bit more like, I know that I have worth and value and that I can still be a good person and make mistakes and take those and learn from them. And that's what makes us good people moving through life is if we have those and learn from them, keep moving. But it's hard to not be hard on ourselves.
Yeah. And I think the outside looking in, when you're like, oh, okay, well, somebody did well at sports and maybe, you know, they did well in business and you don't see kind of those other hard pieces, you know, to navigate. And we all have that. We all have those buried things. Like when I was a patient at Huntsman, I was 28. And I drive up and they have like a valet for the patients. And I drove up and maybe my mom was with me, maybe my husband, and I got out and they thought, oh no, this is for the patients. You guys got to go park over there. And I like literally went into a panic attack. I don't think I've ever had that before or since, but I literally did. Like, I don't want to be a patient either, but I know I don't look like one, but I am. Yeah. And so, I had to call like the case manager and say, where am I going? I just totally, you know, had a freak out moment. But that's like a really clear representation of like, we don't carry around the sign that says, I'm 27 and I'm in cancer treatment.
Yeah.
Right. And that's part of the reason we started this podcast is that you could look at somebody that you had never met.
Yeah, you could look at Lindsey Shipley and say, look at her. She has everything. She's amazing. Never been through hard stuff.
Look at, she built a business. She sold a business. She's a mom. She's an entrepreneur. And you could not know the depth of everything you've gone through. To be there.
And that translates to the keyboard warriors too that we were talking about earlier. You don't know, maybe that person may have said the wrong thing or the wrong thing for you. You didn't know that they're caring for their, you know, ailing parents that morning. Right. Or you don't know that they're like, let's just give just a little bit more grace.
Yeah.
To
Everyone's
each other.
Going through something or has been through something.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, it's probably kind of hard to separate, but I mean, those are two huge things, building a business and going through cancer. Which do you think, or not even which, but like what lessons do you think you learned from each?
Yeah. Oh, good question.
Or which do you think, I'm curious, which forced you to grow more?
Yeah.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
Cancer.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So easy.
Oh, yeah. Well, because it's just like that question, like everything else falls away.
Yeah.
Just being able to be a mom, be there.
Yeah. Building a business is a choice and I'm super grateful. And I also had a lot of support, you know? So yes, I totally want to pat myself on the back, but I did have support in that as far as like supportive spouse and people and things like that. But no, cancer that's not a choice. Like that's something you have to do. and you hate it that it's a part of your life. You don't know when it's going to end. You don't know if it's going to be a positive
There's so much unknown
outcome. It's way harder. And I will say, like, man, it feels painful to say you're ever grateful for something that challenging in your life. I will say, like, I'm so grateful for the lessons I've learned and the change in the person I am. I feel like I have gained more compassion, understanding, acknowledge that there's nuance in everyone's life. And I also have more urgency in life. Not that, like, at this point, I'm like, I'm going to be 98 in my bed and, when I die, but that's my hope, right? But, like, at the same time, like, I am very aware of time and very aware of, like, moments.
And how quickly life can change and what you think your life could be changes.
Yeah.
That perspective. What do you feel like, how do you feel like it changed your outlook on happiness?
Yeah.
Like, because it's probably pretty hard to just be happy when you're going through something like that.
Yeah. That's a great question. I think that when you have that type of high stakes challenge, whatever it might be, it doesn't have to be cancer. A lot of people have a lot of really hard things in their life. It really strips everything else away. Everything that we worry about, what car do I want? Or what house am I going to be? Or do I have the cute clothes? Or this or that? None of that. Like, it totally fades back and goes back to my little cry of, like, I just want to be a mom. Yeah. I just want to do my daily thing. And it shows you really fast what happiness is to you and where you should place that value. And for me, that was being with my family, being with my husband, having dinner together, being able to walk to the park, things like that. When I was going through cancer, when you're building a business, there's other hard times. There's other hard times I'm sure you've experienced where you're like, I'm exhausted. Yeah. Or this isn't as fun as it used to be.
Right.
And I do remember at certain points, I got out a piece of paper and I would say, what makes me happy? What doesn't make me happy? And I wrote a list. Okay. Sometimes the things that don't make you happy, you still have to do.
Right.
But you can you can slim that list. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, you're in control. You can.
Yeah. But, like, if you're going to propel the business forward, like, I have to worry about sales, even though, like, that's not my favorite part.
Right.
But what things am I doing that maybe I could delegate depending on where revenue's at? Or what things am I doing just to fill my time because I don't want to work on the things that are actually going to move the needle? And so there were times where I was like, I'm at a breaking point, and I would make that list and I would circle, and that would help me kind of go back and go, what can I offload? What do I need to change strategy wise? Blah, blah, blah. That would maybe make it a little bit more fun or doable to push through those hard moments in the business. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. And that's good. It's tough to know, like, what how people are going to understand how they can translate this to their own life, right? Like, but I think a lot of people, they don't know. You mentioned they need to have their passion. They should be seeking after their passion. And I think there's a lot of people that they kind of struggle with that. They don't know what is my passion. So how would you help people find their passion?
Yeah, and I think it's a little bit two-pronged because people say, like, well, that's like, kind of a lofty thing. Like, not everyone is going to do what they're passionate about. I get that. Like, when sometimes you have to take a job and it's not your passion. You got to pay the bills. That's totally fine. I'm just saying, if you're going to take up entrepreneurship and you're going to carry it up a hill, probably by yourself at times, it might be a really good idea to have something that
your passion
you care about. Sure. So I don't want to be like rose-colored glasses.
Right.
Only do your passion. Like, I get it. Like,
and I think there are ways, even if that, like, the reality is it can't be your career to do something you're passionate. You can add in things you're passionate to your life.
Absolutely.
Like, you can, coach basketball on the side, or you can find a hobby or a career that fills your free time that you're passionate about. And sometimes you are able to find that passion by it first being a hobby.
Absolutely.
And then, and that was it for
Says
me.
the DIY queen.
And then, oh, wow, I could, I could turn this into something because I found out I'm passionate about it and I didn't know.
Yeah. But to, like, go to to answer your question, what I would say is that think about things that you lose track of time when you're doing.
Yeah.
Like for me, that's basketball. Like helping my daughter, helping my team, helping my kids. I could totally lose track of time. Like there's been times my sister's like, "Kay, like it's been 2 hours." Like I was like, "Oh,
we should probably do something else." Oh yeah.
I think that's great advice.
That is great advice.
Is like, what can you lose track of time? And then what is something that you are just super knowledgeable about? And the other thing that I think sometimes stops people is they're like, "I'm not the smartest at this."
Yes.
And so, because I got a chance to go and do a lecture at UVU in their entrepreneurship series, and the one thing I got feedback on that people really starred was, I actually took it from Parker Wolbeck, which he does like True Millennials and a few things. He's done online course pros as well. He's a Orem native as well, so local. He says like on a scale of 1 to 10, like in an expertise, you don't need to be the 10 to teach it or to do a course on it or something like that. If you're a 5, teach the people who are 1 to 4.
Yeah.
And start, right?
I think starting's the hardest. I think like, and that especially for someone that is like us, I had a hard time thinking that I could start a business or do something if it wasn't 100%. And I've really learned just through practice that, it's better to start imperfectly than to never start.
So one of my main things is imperfect action. That's on my like Instagram, like that I'm obsessed with imperfect action. Like we talked about here and I walked in, I'm like, oh my gosh, look at your podcast setup, which like, if you think you have to start here, that might stop. Maybe just get your voice memo out.
Exactly.
And do 6 minutes, 10 minutes, if you really want to start a podcast and then like move to something like this, right?
There's always ways you can improve after. You don't have to start it perfectly. You can improve it after you start.
Yeah.
And you usually learn the most of how to make it better in the process, not before.
Like make the ugly banner, put it on the wall, let it fall down. It's all okay.
Yeah.
And then everyone's going to laugh about it with you together.
If you wait to start, but if you wait to start until you feel ready to start, you'll never start.
Yeah. True.
Love that question though.
So do we have any other questions before we go to our final one?
We have, what's a mistake that you, in retrospect, you are grateful for?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mistake that I'm grateful for. Well, grateful because I learned. I don't know that I'd necessarily do it if I go back, but I think that in business, when you're going along, you get antsy and you want to make leaps and you're not sure how. And so distractions feel appealing.
Yeah.
Things like, maybe you can be affiliate of this product or, this site, I'm trying to think. So yeah, there were things that came up that sometimes I grabbed at in the first 4 years of the 7 years. I got really focused in the last 3 years, I feel like. But in the first 4 years, there were times that I did things that was not in the best interest of just moving my main product forward.
Well, that's interesting. I actually feel like I've run into that myself where like you look at in your business what you need to do and you see it and you're like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And you kind of like, maybe it'd be easier if we did this or that, the other.
Maybe it would be easier.
Yeah.
where it's like, no, just figure out the thing.
And trust your gut.
Yeah,
you felt like, this is what I do, but
yeah.
And then you end up coming back and doing the hard thing.
Yeah. And then there was one time where, because I've got this other Mommy Link name, right?
Yeah.
That I owned at, when I had Lactation Link as well. And there was a time I was about an inch from launching like birth courses because I'm labor and delivery.
Right.
I was childbirth educator certified. It's not that I wasn't capable to do it, but I stopped myself because I was like, I want to just go even further in this niche. Like, I don't necessarily want to go like, is this and this and this and this.
Right.
Yeah.
Like at that stage I was at, I was like, no, if breastfeeding gets brought up, I want it to be
me.
Lactation Link. Right. And so I think that was smart that I'm happy I did that. Now, if I had not sold and kept going, I think that would have been a natural ad. It just wasn't the right timing to do that. And I could have gotten,
could have been that distraction you were talking about.
Could have been the distraction. Yeah. And there were times I did grab at distractions that I wouldn't have done looking back. So I think like advice I would give is just stay so focused on how do I do better and better with my main product before I try to go, lateral or horizontal to add more SKUs or whatever it might be.
Yeah, totally. And it's a balance too. I mean, because you hear that all the time that you have to be super focused, but you also have to be up on the market and what's changing and what's happening. And with you, it'd be, probably up on social media, which is changing, especially in that time, changing daily,
so
right?
much.
And, but it is a balance, but that's a good, remember to focus on things. A good idea.
Go deep, not wide, if you can.
Love it. So what advice would you give someone who feels really lost? Like one step, like, what would, if you could give yourself past advice in those dark moments, right after a reoccurrence of cancer, if you could give yourself in that moment one piece of advice being on the other side, what would you say?
I think that our natural inclination is to get an answer or fix something right now, whether that be with ourselves, whether it be people who are trying to help us, because it's hard to sit in uncertainty. And there was a time that there was a lot of uncertainty during my cancer journey. And I was at my sister's house and I was emotional and I was upset, and I actually ended up going to her closet, and it's my sister Cammie, and she came and sat with me, and I kind of relayed some of my fears that I was having. She listened. She's like, I hear you. I want to let you know that Satan is the one that's trying to lead you towards fear. And she was like, I would be doing the same thing. I would feel the same fear. We have to sit in it. We have to breathe. And then we have to trust in God. And that's easier said than done.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be quick. So I think it would be sit with someone that loves you. Let yourself do the 2 weeks of crying if you need. So whether it's 2 minutes, 2 hours, 2 weeks, whatever you need, allow yourself. You can't skip that step. Because I think it's like when you lose someone, you have to have a grieving process. Well, maybe I was losing, like, man, I went through a mountain to now have this new baby, and now this is not how I saw it going. And I had to grieve that. And you can't skip that step. And then when you're ready, then you can dust yourself off and start taking steps forward. But you're not going to fix it in 5 minutes. You're not going to fix it with one conversation. You're not going to fix it with even one prayer. But I think that you have to, like, give yourself the time. Give yourself the time. And then on the flip side, let's say you're listening and you're not the person going through it, but you're someone that loves a person going through it. This one thing, like I've posted over and over, I think it's Maya Angelou, I think. Oh, I'd have to go and look, but it says like a true healer sits with the person until they heal themselves. And I added, until you and God can do the healing. Like that was my ad, because I would not have been able to get through it on my own. But I think as trying to support, we're like, okay, well, let's sit here and let's make a plan. And and like that is needed. But like I said, like sometimes the most loving, healing thing you can do is sit with someone, hold their hand, cry with them, and say, you know what, this really sucks. And I hear you. And I'm here to love you.
Not try to fix it and just
until we can cry it out for a while. And then get around to like, okay, how can we take steps forward?
Yeah. Almost not like sitting down in the low with them instead of trying to lift them up, just climbing down in that low with them and being with them.
And can't really be like, okay, it's been 5 minutes of crying. Like, and I'm lucky that I have a spouse who's come and laid with me in my closet at 2 a.m. I have a sister who, I have 4 sisters that actually have helped in their own unique way at different times. I have parents that are super supportive. I have in-laws that love me like their own daughter. Some people don't have that.
Yeah.
And that's really hard. Like I've been to the hospital at times before. People are like, this is the bus schedule. We want to make sure you can get back, because they know that there's not a support system. So I've been through something hard, but I am very lucky in the support that I have.
And we can all be that for somebody and hopefully not leave someone in that situation.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think our final question we're going to ask everybody is, what is your personal key to happiness?
Personal key to happiness. For me, I've mentioned a lot, is my faith is big. My trust in God is big. And keeping the 2 plates spinning of my spouse, my family. If I'm doing that, everything else is extra. And if I'm getting all wrapped up or worried about these things that would not make it past the list check off, would be stripped away if I went back to having to be sick or something like that, then it's not worth it at the end of the day. And that's that's daily reminders to ourselves, because we're all going to get, tripped up in those ways. But yeah, keeping it simple, reminding myself what's most important and sticking with that. Yeah. And that, for me, that's my family and my faith in God.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
This has been so great.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
Super
so
fun.
much
Thank
for coming.
you.
You're the cutest people in the world. Like I said, I walked in, I'm like, look at this room. So fun.
It's not perfect, but we're learning.
Yeah. So fun.
Yeah, she said that, and then we said we actually wanted to change a few things, but perfection in progress.
And how fun that you guys can work together. I'm sure there's challenges that come along with that.
Yeah, it's been great.
But there's also
been a
joy.
great opportunity to get to have these conversations.
Yeah.
I feel so lucky that like without this, wouldn't have had this, and hopefully it, somebody listens who needs that right now, and it can help lift somebody.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate your willingness to be honest and open and share your story and your
awesome
experience.
story. Yeah.
Thank you. And I'm glad that our paths have crossed.
And so glad.
And we had an opportunity to work together.
Yes.
And then also you've been so generous in my project with, other young moms going through cancer. And I appreciate that so much. I know other moms do as well. So
yeah, and we wish you all the best in the new thing, Mommy Link. We're going to be watching. Yeah, we're going to be watching.
And there's a resource for everybody watching that needs that support. So.
Absolutely. And and then also on my personal Instagram, if people, like I said, sometimes people will pop into my DM and ask questions. Maybe they have a new diagnosis or they have somebody in their life, and I'm happy to help with that. I make sure to only get in there when I'm in the right headspace to do so.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Got to.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for
listening.
Thank
you guys.
Yeah. Thanks.
And until next time.
Okay.
Yay.
Love it.
Heard a lot of like things I want to implement into my life.
Totally.
Yeah. And so it's going to be so great
to
just continue learning from others and getting to learn so much about others. I'm so excited. We're going to jump into our last segment, just the two of us together, the Trader Joe's bag. You want to hold it up and give it a shake?
Oh, shake.
For the people on the non-video so they can hear it. Okay, we're going to, if you would like to submit a question for our Trader Joe's segment, you can send us a DM on our Hunters of Happiness podcast Instagram page, or we will sometimes put up a Q&A box in the stories there that you can submit one. So today, what is this?
Give us your favorite project you've ever done so far.
That is so hard because I feel like I have different love for different projects that I've done. And like some of the earlier ones I have so much love for because I like not necessarily loved the final outcome as like my favorite, but I learned so much in the process of like how to do the next one better. But I would say right now it is the Enchanted Fairy Garden room we just did for the girls for Christmas.
Yeah.
Because it was so unique. Like it was so much fun to work together as a team.
Yeah.
To make trees out of foam. And honestly, seeing you thrive in like the creation of like how we were going to execute that, it was really fun to work as a team because it was like, I want to make trees. How do we do it? And you were like, I think we could do foam. And you made a foam cutter. And it was just, it's so like out of the ordinary magical project. It was just so unique.
Yeah.
So I think it's hard because I feel like my last project is always my current favorite.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Well, I would actually say mine was probably the first Christmas build that we did back at the old house. It was magical and so cool. And I loved how, it was the first, and it's always cool. And then how we worked it into the staircase was pretty fun too.
Yeah. And how we made that slide.
Yeah.
That was way fun.
I do think copper slide and
overall, I really have honed into that. My favorite projects that I enjoy are kids spaces.
Yeah.
Because you just have so much more creativity in what's kind of like acceptable in a home.
Yeah.
When you just think you can be more imaginative, and maybe I need to carry that more into my own spaces, but that are more adult spaces or whatever. But there's just so much creativity and so many places you can go with kids spaces that it's really fun.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, next question. Give me the bag. What do you do to help your girls have a great sister bond? Our girls are really close.
They are.
They're good sisters.
And I think age helps. That's one thing that
they're really close in age.
Yeah, they're pretty close in age, and that's been great. And I had that with my brother as well. It's been fantastic.
It definitely helps.
But then we do, try to have them play together, turn off the TV, turn off electronics, do things together, play outside.
We have them live in the same room. We have them share a room.
Yes.
I think that honestly creates a lot of bonding moments because they're there together and they chat before bed. And I think the other thing that we went to a class and learned this, and I really don't interject myself in their like tiffs.
Oh yeah.
Like that was something that I learned at that parenting class we went to, but that sibling rivalry only occurs when one of the parents inserts themselves. And that it's just sibling conflict when you stay out of it, and they learn
conflict resolution
skills. They learn skills that are really beneficial to them when you let them work it out. And you can interject yourself as far as helping in that process. Like, well, let's talk about it. How do you feel? How do you feel? Like what do you think your ideas for a solution to this conflict? But not taking sides. That when you take a side, that's when it becomes rivalry. And I felt like that has really worked out. Obviously, the taking a side does happen when someone's broke one of our like core rules, right? Like if someone has hit or
no biting,
bit or something like that, then it is like, that's not okay, right? We have our like rules and boundaries, but anything that's like inside of those and in just a conflict, we really encourage them to figure it out amongst themselves. Yeah. And I feel like they have that skill of conflict resolution with each other. And they're able to get through it. And they also know that they're not going to get attention from either of us when it comes to conflict. So when they don't get attention for it, I feel like it diffuses and goes away quicker than if they got attention for like tattling or like being pitted against each other. They know it's not going to result in anything positive from us or any attention, so they don't participate in it as much, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a big one. Yeah, sharing a room for sure. And then I think those are definitely things. We also try to do a lot together as a family whenever we can, like whenever we can do structured activities. We do a lot, we're everybody's there at the house a lot because we work from home.
Sometimes I wonder too, because they are the only sibling that they have, like they don't have other options of like interacting with anyone else besides each other. And so sometimes I wonder if that, it probably doesn't hurt in encouraging them to be closer because they're what they have is each other. And I do also talk to him a lot about like, friends will come and go, but you guys will be best friends for the rest of your lives. Yeah. And so treat each other kindly, support each other. We really encourage them and give a lot of positive reinforcement when they do kind things for each other. Yeah. And so I think that results in them doing more kind things for each other.
We hope so. Also, we're just trying to figure it out ourselves.
Yeah. But we're doing something right.
Yeah.
Sometimes I step back and they do something amazing for each other and I'm like, okay, something's working.
Yeah.
Like that was really awesome. So that was our episode for today.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. We're so excited for episode 5. Got another interview coming.
Yeah, and interviews starting to line up. We've got a bunch that we're excited about. So
leave a comment, like,
subscribe,
and we'll see you next time.